They don't make them like they used to anymore. I'm kidding. Obviously, they still do. So I just finished watching Code Geass, Lelouch of the Rebellion, first season 2 days ago, um, and I've been watching about like an episode a day. And I guess real quick, I definitely would recommend if you haven't watched it, then watch it. Um, yeah, that's about it for the first part of it. Um, but surprisingly, I have for how old this anime is, and for how old a lot of other animes are that are really popular, I would say. Uh, I surprisingly have not been spoiled by them. So going into this, I didn't know what this was about or anything like that. And I watched the first day. I watched the first three episodes back to back, and I really like. I don't know if it was due to the fact that I watched three episodes in one go, or it was just how the pacing of it was. But uh, it wasn't a. I mean, I guess comparably to how other people view, like for example, Steins Gate, with it's like you have to get over the hump of it. But I enjoyed those regardless. The first couple episodes of Steins Gate when I first watched it. Um, but with Code Geass, it was bang 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 bang. It's all action and stuff like that. Um, I guess spoilers ahead for if anybody decides to watch this as well. But definitely would recommend um, if you want to stop here and just go watch it. Just just go watch it. Don't personally, my recommendation is always to just never look anything up and just watch it how it is. Uh, but yeah, going into the show, I didn't know what to expect. Right now it's 12:30, so I don't want to talk too long. It's kind of sleepy, and yeah, I mean that's not related to the show, but I really liked it. There were a lot of things where I was like, um, I don't know how to say it. I wrote down some of the stuff that I've like after watching the episodes, but I kind of stopped keeping track of it. But the Pizza Hut, the animation, or Pizza Hut, the sponsor, uh, these guys must have had a huge Pizza Hut sponsorship. Uh, Definitely made me want to go eat some pizza afterwards. And then there's that one episode. I guess I'll talk about the anime now, but it's gonna be very sporadic, uh, like in timeline. But Pizza Hut, holy moly! The first time I saw it, I was like, wait, can they just do like Pizza Hut? Like, can the show just show Pizza Hut like that? Um, because a lot of other animes and mangas, they like instead of McDonald's, it's like WickDonald's, or like instead of like Starbucks, it's like Barbucks or something. I don't know. Uh, so the first time I saw the Pizza Hut thing, I was like, what the heck? Um, but then they kept showing it and showing it. I was like, oh, I guess it's a sponsor or they are somehow related, affiliated to them. So even after all these years, I'll have to go get some Pizza Hut afterwards. Um, but I never have a script for these, so I don't know what to talk about. So I'm looking right here. There are a lot of how do you call it? Philosophical stuff in here. Like one of the very first things where when Lelouch meets She2, he says that I kind of forget, but he talks about the lie of living. Um, and to be frank, I didn't really think about it too much. I'm sure there's a lot of people who, I mean, it's like been what, almost 20 years since this came out. I don't know when it came out, like 2008 question mark. Um, but the lie of living, uh, I really don't have much to say about that because I don't have any thoughts on it. So you can skip on that. Um, I was not expecting this to be. I mean, so obviously in the title of the name, Code Geass, the Geass is the power of what Shitu gives to Lelouch, and then also Mao, the person that you meet a little later. Um, and I was not expecting Lelouch to have powers at all. I guess before going into this, I'm so rambly. Before going into this, I knew about Lelouch, like as a character, like physically, and I also knew about She Too, like physically. But aside from that, I didn't know anything else. So I think literally every other character I saw in there was like the first time I was seeing them. But I was not expecting Lelouch to have like the power to just command people like that. His Code Geass, is that what they call it? I don't know. His Geass, whatever. Um, and I also was not expecting the show to be about, uh, like, would you call it, like, political question mark? Um, Political in the sense that like, it's Britannia, the country, freaking takes over Japan, and stuff like that. And also, I was expecting Lelouch to be uh, Japanese because in the very beginning, like the first couple frames, first couple like seconds or minutes of the show, it's Suzaku and Lelouch together when the like nightmares come down and all that stuff. So, and they're like obviously in Japan, and I thought he was Japanese, but no, uh, he's a Britannia gene, Britannian or whatever. So I was not expecting that, and I was also not expecting him to be a what's that called, royalty. Is that are they considered royalty? Royalty. Uh, when he first confronts Clovis. Um, so there are a lot of things I was not expecting when I was watching this show. When I was like, "Holy moly, that is a thing," or whatever. Um, a real quick side note. I don't want to talk too much about it. I'll probably talk about it in a different thing. But to the Trails series, to the Trails Enjoyer, Trails of Cold Steel, the Panzer Soldat. I was reminded of the Panzer Soldat for the Nightmares. They have a lot of the same weapon systems. They have like the lance, and then the big guns and whatnot. Uh, they don't have the little, I don't know what they're called, but the like grappling hook type uh, things. But it reminded me of that. But I won't talk too much about that. But the themes of Trails of Cold Steel remind me a lot of in this show, Code Geass. What else? What else? Oh, Suzaku. When you like first meet him, like one of the things I was like, holy shoot, this guy's a good guy. Like this guy is a straight up just good guy because uh, when the orange orange by the way, freaking that guy. But when the the little ball with the plan thing or whatever, I forget what they call it, but orange, it's like a planned like bio weapon. Uh, they were uh, it was opening, and then freaking Suzaku like immediately puts the gas mask on Lelouch, and I was like, holy shit, this guy like has no hesitation to like save his friend, um, and obviously that holds true with a lot of the other actions he did. Like he, uh, now I'm forgetting. It's only been like a couple weeks, but he takes like a gunshot for Lelouch, um, because he doesn't want to kill the civilians because I mean they're civilians, uh, but the higher ups are like no civilian can see like all this stuff, so you gotta get rid of them. But he takes a gunshot. He doesn't want to kill them first of all, but then he takes a gunshot. And there were a lot of other instances where he's basically like just putting his body like in harm's way, and I'm like, dang, this guy is just uh, a good, like, and I don't know if you would call it good, but like above good, you know, like he just disregarding everything and then just wants to help everybody. Um, and he is helpful of a lot of people in general. But then you get a little further on, and then you see that I forget which episode, and I forgot exactly what happened. But I believe it's when it's revealed that he killed his father, right? And now he's living with the guilt of having killed his father, and now he just like he doesn't have a reason to live. I mean, he has one, but like it's like uh, I'm kind of forgetting, so I don't want to say things that I'm forgetting. But from what I remember, he like doesn't have a thing to live for essentially, um, and that's why he is so readily like okay with putting his own body in harm's way because he is okay with dying. Uh, I don't remember if he wanted to die, but he was okay with dying. Um, and honestly, uh, when Lelouch uses his Geass uh, on Suzaku, and the thing about, I mean, if you're watching this, you probably have watched the show, uh, but the thing about the Geass is that you can only use it, or he can only. Holy moly, I can't speak. Lelouch's Geass can only be used once on a person, and then after that, he can't use it anymore. Uh, and so his one command to Suzaku during that like uh, event where the higher ups are like, keep him like keep freaking Zero there the entire time. So he's like, whatever. We can finally get rid of him. Uh, his one command to Suzaku is to live, right? Um, and I'm sure you can find a lot of people talking about the like deep meaning and all that stuff behind it, but I'll tell you the surface level thoughts. And I'm like, I mean, I mean, now, I mean, he has something to live for, later on, which, is it later on? It's like developing towards it, but freaking, what's your name, Yuffie, the princess, like, and they developed the relationship pretty early on as well, uh, but um, he sorry, I can't think, but yeah, I'll end it on that because I can't like formulate a coherent thought on it. It's freaking 12:42 a.m. brain. I'm just want to go to sleep, to be honest. Uh, but there's that, like his like, I mean, I think like it's very symbolic. The Gias, like um, Lelouch's. Sorry, I can't think of his name for a reason. It's freaking Lelouch's Gias is you can only use it once on a person, and every time, like, for example, it's for strangers, you know, or for military like strategic purposes, uh, using like the power on people, using the power to command people on like strangers is a lot less. How do you call it? There's a lot of distance or whatever, right? So when you use it on somebody that's like close to you, it has a lot more meaning, you know. And then that goes to, sorry, I'm horrible with names. The one of the student council members. I freaking look at it. Where the frick is he? Shirley. Holy moly! Sorry, I should know that. Um, but I'm so horrible with names. But Shirley, uh, when he was using the Gias on her, I was honestly expecting him to just uh, do it in such a manner that like memories of uh, memories of him like can remain, but memories of Zero does not remain, right? But I guess I didn't think too deeply about it, but perhaps it was more of like, you know, a separation of, it was basically like cutting ties, right? Uh, and he talks about it like the concept. I'm actually also saying that it was done in 2006, so it's been like 20 years, um, 19 years, coming on to 20. But uh, Lelouch talks about it, and many times he's like he'll have to shoulder all of the like sins and like burdens and basically tough choices, right? Uh, and I guess the command for Shirley of like basically forgetting everything about Lelouch is like severing his uh, I don't know if you would call it past, but a portion of his past. Um, is it past? Sorry, I can't think of the words. I need to do these like earlier in the day, uh, but basically like his interpersonal relationships, right? He's like severing them, not completely because I mean he didn't do that with the other people, but Shirley is basically like, I mean, she loves him, obviously, uh, whereas all the other characters, I mean, aren't really romantically interested in him. But that's, you know, it's like when you use the power on somebody, it's like somebody that's close to you, very meaningful. Uh, that's sorry, my rants are kind of, I don't know if you would call it rants. My dialogue is very surface level because I didn't think about it too much. I just click play and just recording and then just saying my thoughts. Um, I also don't look at like what do you call those, like discussion threads and stuff like that. I'm sure they probably have a lot of spoilers because I still need to watch season two, and I don't know if I need to watch the other stuff. I probably will watch the other stuff as well, uh, but I know there's a season two. I did actually watch the first episode of that uh, before making this video, so I do know like what happens after that freaking big time gap, or not time gap, after that big cliffhanger of an ending. Holy moly! Imagine watching this back then and then getting that cliffhanger, and then having to wait for the next however many years they did. Probably only like 1 or 2 years, I think. um, dang, 17 minutes. There is a lot that I could talk about, but I really enjoyed this anime. Um, he really briefly, I really enjoyed that he actually like tests out all of his powers and stuff like that. His power, I should say. Like he was testing the duration of it on that one girl that's like writing I believe she was doing tally marks. Excuse me. I believe she was doing tally marks every day at the like same time. Um, and then he was testing distance and then stuff like reflection. I don't know if he was testing it being a recording. I don't know if he did that, but I mean, if he's doing it with like the property of like, he's saying it has like the property of light, right? And he's testing it with like mirrors and stuff like that. Um, and then eventually, you know, the reflection thing being pretty early on, I believe it's like episode five, according to my notes that I took. I won't call them notes, like journal or whatever. Fortunately, I stopped taking them. I should do them again. Uh, but later on, when he's fighting Mao, right? He does he he commands himself, right? He uses a Geass on himself, uh, and I'm just having a bunch of things like bubble up as I like talk about it and am remembering. But the thing with Mao, it's pretty interesting to see. Uh, the thing that immediately I'm thinking about is his chess match with Mao, right? Um, Obviously, Mao is able to read all of his thoughts and stuff like that, so he's able to beat him in chess, I guess. He knows like everything he's gonna do, right? Uh, the one random thought I had when they were doing that chess thing was it was based off of weight or whatever, so they were tossing it into the thing. I was like, yo, can't bro just reach over and do that? But obviously Mao would be like would know that he's doing that. Um, and honestly, the fact that was it Lelouch, like, I guess it's never implied or whatever, or it's never said directly. So I guess the implication is that, like, I mean, the game of chess for Lelouch, because he's like a, a strategist, right? It's like in the first episode, he goes and does it. A lot of the military stuff is strategy, um, and so in a game of like strategy of chess, intelligence or whatever, I guess Lelouch has the, what do you call it, like pride, ego, um, to not even like have that thought in his brain, like, because the match is between Mao and him, right? It's not like what you call it. Uh, but I guess obviously he did the thing. Now that I'm remembering more of it, he did the Geass on himself so that he would like feel actual despair, and then like Suzaku does the saving and does all that stuff. Um, what else? There was a lot of stuff. The In terms of strategy, it was very interesting to see that as well. Like his first go at it with, I forget, was it the Shinjuku Ward, where he had his first fight, um, commanding all the, I guess they weren't the Black Knights at that point. All of the, I forget what they were called before that, but the like Splinter Cell, uh, terrorists, uh, organization at that point. Um, the he did really well, and then he had the second go around about it against her name, Cornelia, right? And in that, it goes to show like he's still learning and he's still like immature, right? Because he goes into with the expectation that it's going to be the exact same thing. And honestly, I might be misremembering. I don't know if it was the second battle he had or there were some battles, but it was interesting to see that uh, Lelouch is able to like figure out who his enemy is based on like the strategies that they do. Uh, for example, Schneisel, I believe his name is. Uh, he's able to like figure out that Schneisel is the one commanding the people in that one fight. Sorry, I'm very unspecific, but in that one fight, like way later on in the story. Um, but going back to the thing I was talking about with Lelouch, like he's still growing, he's still like immature, so he has the same expectations going into this fight, and then when G2 has to like bail him out, uh, he's like, dang it, like, if, hold on, I think I wrote about it. If he was saying like if the conditions were the same, he would have like beat it again or whatever, right? But it's real life, obviously, and real life is not going to present to you all the conditions, same conditions as like you would hope. And she too says it takes a certain amount of power to create those conditions. And I believe this is the part where, actually, scratch that. But that's that. And I mean, he's continually learning and all that stuff. But at the same time, he's still like immature, question mark, but still learning, still growing up. Um, he does a lot of like, he has a lot of mistakes, Um, I can't think of anything else. Random thought, mistakes. Speaking of mistakes, the thing with Yuffie, when they made the I forget what they call it, but the special zone, where where Japanese people can be called Japanese instead of 11, and they can co-live. Was it co-live? Uh, with Brit. I can't pronounce it. Britannians. Um, and then he goes and freaking flubs it because his thing is like on because he doesn't want to be. His Geass is on, and he's like, yeah, if I told you to freaking kill all the Japanese people, you do it, right? And Yuffie is like, no, freaking, and I'm like, bro, freaking, are you kidding me? Are you freaking kidding me? Um, and dude, that is tragic. That's freaking tragic. But I one of the thoughts I had in regards to that was Yuffie has to have a extremely like extremely strong would you call it will or um, prerogative, is it prerogative, like basically like your will, your belief, and that kind of stuff, right? I'm saying that because some of the commands that Lelouch gives is for a person to kill themselves, right? uh, can I say that, YouTube, Minecraft, or whatever? um, sorry, but um, it's to basically end their own existence, right? And they do it very quickly, right? And I mean, obviously, not every single person is the same, but I think on average, a person that's like, I don't know, an average person will choose to live rather than to die. I like, like, I don't know the best way to describe it, but you probably get what I mean. Um, and like the Geass is just overriding these guys' commands, will or whatever, and they're like, okay, and they just do it, right? And but with Yuffie, she is like staunch, not wanting to do it. So, like that is her her will is a lot higher in regards to like violence and like doing things that she does not want to do, which she deems like she doesn't want to do. Uh, uh, sorry, I can't think. I can't think. But dude, that is dang. I was watching that. I was like, sheesh. This is this is this is messed up. Very unfortunate. Um, and the yeah, I can't think of anything else. Sorry. The other thing I was episode 9, I believe, with I forget what the drug is called. But when they're showing people taking the drugs, right? And this is also when you meet. Is this the same episode where you meet Karen's Karen Karen Karen's mom, right? And she's doing the drug, and the drug helps people like relive their best experiences in the past, right? And honestly, like when you hear about it, or when I heard about it, I like didn't think too much about it. But then they like go to the warehouse, and then all these people are like there, and they show them like living, like reliving their best experiences in the past. I'm like, dang, this is kind of depressing. Um, that that's like the extent of my thoughts on that. I mean, it's not much deeper besides it's like, dang, this is, I mean, this is just kind of like like uh like so I guess you would call them 11 or whatever. I don't know if that's derogatory and is obviously derogatory in their world, but our world is like we are the watchers watching the anime. So do when people discuss this, do they say 11 or Japanese question mark? I don't know. But the 11s, the Japanese people, they clearly have like horrible rights and like horrible living and all that stuff. For example, like uh, that hot dog seller guy, he is like getting bullied and all that stuff, and he just has to take it. And then when Lelouch and Karen goes to like kind of help them, he like doesn't even think once about himself. Uh, I mean, I guess he technically is thinking about himself, but he doesn't like he immediately is like, "Would you guys like to purchase some food?" Right? Because he's making some like the goal is to make money or whatever to like live a better life, you know. Um, but the other side of that is that like 11 elevens are, you know, living in the ghettos and whatever, basically under the shadow of Britannians. Uh, and I mean, Lelouch is talking about it. He's like, yeah, like 11s come here and they choose to like live this life. They come in knowing, understanding that like they will be treated like basically less than worms, uh, because it is better than the situation that they are living in the like non-reformed areas or whatever you call them. The basically the like war-stricken areas that Britannia like did not fix up. And honestly, the other thing is like this guy is like doing a lot of thinking or whatever. Obviously, he's like, how can I make Karen not think that I am zero or whatever, right? He does that through the like shower stuff, with the it's for you, and then like calling and then it's like he's talking really down on uh, the hot dog guy, for example. He's like, I believe in that scene, I may be misremembering, but in that scene he's like talking down to Karen, basically to get her opinion of him like down, but Zero, Karen looks up to Zero, right? Because he's really smart and is able to accomplish a lot of things. That's that. I guess one of the main things, I don't know why I'm talking about this so late, 32 minutes in, but one of the main things is that he is doing this. He said there's two reasons for why he's doing this. And holy crap, I forgot the first one. But it's to create a world in which Nunnally can live in. What was the second one? What was the first one? I freaking forgot. I should know it. They said this like several times. But it's to create one of the two reasons is for him to create a world for Nunnally to live in. And it's I don't remember if the first one was revenge or not for his mother, or to take down whatever Britannia because of all that stuff with his mom. But yeah, for Nunnally, like that's like his raison to be, raison d'etre, right? His reason for being. Now I guess you could say that. See, this is the thing. I need to remember what the first one is, because it would affect what I'm saying right now. But I guess you could say that. I mean, they are living in a good life right now. A good enough life, I should say. But like ethically, morally, they're living on the the land that is stolen from Japanese people. And Lelouch wants to create a world where it's like, his father, the emperor or whatever that guy's name is, I don't know his name. The freaking he is a shape. He got like he is built all right. Anyways, he wants to create a world because his dad is like, the emperor is like, the world is for the strong, like be like cursed that you were born in like a position, like a weak power or whatever, and not strong and whatnot. Basically strong, like the strong, that's it. And then And then what's his name? Lelouch wants to create a world where it's like should be equal, you know, like weak, strong, it doesn't matter. Like, and I believe, like, I mean, sorry, not believe, like getting to a point where the world is like that uh, would be a better world, obviously, um, and it would be a better world for Nunnally to live in, right? Uh, not not to say, like Nunnally is weak, right? Weak in the sense like physically, like she's blind, she's handicapped, she's unable to, she like is, sorry, I had a train of thought and then two trains of thought hit each other and now I can't speak, uh, but she's like physically weak and like basically that's what the emperor looks down on. um, Obviously the environment around her is very good, I mean because it's all students and stuff like that, and they like understand each other a lot better. But sorry, I can't think and ah, but you can probably see where I'm like going with the train of thought sort of. um but yeah, so he's trying to make that world like that, but I keep saying but it's 1 a.m. I'm getting sleepy. uh Lelouch, going back to the shouldering thing, like this guy is doing a lot of like stuff that has consequences essentially, right? um there's a lot of killing in the show, there's a lot of people dying in the show. um Much of it is like civilians, uh army people and stuff like that, so you don't really see the direct consequences, right, until he does that landslide thing. um and that's where Shirley's father dies, right? And then Shirley's like basically that whole plot with her finding out and whatnot. Sorry, I can't think right now. What was I talking about? Consequences, stuff like that. Oh yeah, and then that's when like during that moment he's zero, and I mean he's Lelouch, um, and sorry, the other thing that I didn't even touch on is identity. Maybe I'll talk about that, but maybe I won't. It's 37 minutes, so I'll finish talking about this. But like consequences, right? He he does that landslide thing, and it's like a strategic thing, obviously. And he's fighting other people that's part of the military. Uh, so I mean, it's not much to think about. You just have to do it in order to gain advantage because he does not have numbers. He does not have like he does not have like superiority uh, when it comes to these battles. So he has to do what he has to do, uh, or he has to do what he can do, I should say. Question mark? I don't know if that sounds correct, but the direct result of that is Charlie's father dying, um, in which she like comes to Lelouch for comfort and is like, why would Zero do this or whatever, um, and then he is like, oh shoot, freaking, he obviously did not mean to kill Shirley's father, uh, but that is a consequence, um, and it's, I don't know if you would say crazy to see. I guess it's like the like he has an objective and he has to achieve it, um, at what cost, you know. And then there's that one shipyard battle. Excuse me, I forget all the people's names, but they are carrying whatever uh, important resource is on that ship, and then he basically uses it as a bait, right? Lelouch uses it as bait, like killing these people that are on your uh, team, allies or whatever. Um, uh, and he's like, if he basically, I, I can't reason right now, but his reasoning is like, Sorry, it's 1 a.m. brain. I'm like about to shut off. Uh, but he's talking about like shouldering sins and burdens and all that stuff, and he definitely is doing that, and he definitely did that further on and further on with stuff like using the accident where he uses Geass on Yuffie to take advantage of that, and then basically giving the Black Knights and the Japanese people like a reason to like fight against Britannia. Um, oh, can't think of anything else. Those mechs are cool. I'll say the mechs are cool. Uh, Let me look at these. She too. Sorry, I don't have much to say. I'm kind of sleepy. Maybe in the future when I rewatch, I'll do this again and then I'll talk more about it. Um, I will say I really enjoy the writing in this. Right, um, it feels like there are a lot of layers to it, and you peel it back. The the watcher themselves peels it back however many they want, or yeah, however much they want. Right, like you could just watch this and be like, be there for the action. Um, but then there's like a lot of other stuff. I'm 14 and this is deep or whatever that subreddit is. I'm not trying to do that right now. Sorry, but that's the first thought that I had that popped into my head. Um, but in that one episode uh, where Shitu and Lelouch was talking about like names and stuff like that, and they're like kind of like what you call it, bickering. Maybe bickering isn't the right word, but they're just basically like talking to each other about names, and then there's like zero, blah blah blah, and then he's like, she too, like that's not even a human name, right? Uh, and then she too is like, mm, she's like, do you know why the snow is white? Uh, it's because it's forgotten its color, right? Um, and I believe Lelouch does not have a response, like immediate response to that, and only in the next episode when they are like in the cave and they're having that like close moment with each other, where uh, they're having that close moment with each other, and Lelouch is like, I forget the exact quote, but he says that snow is beautiful, right? Basically saying like she too is beautiful, um, even if she doesn't like remember her past and all that stuff. Uh, so there's that, uh, and I really enjoy the writing in that kind of thing. Right? It feels like when you watch the episode, it feels maybe it was important because I did remember that. Um, More impactful or whatever you would say, but at the moment it kind of felt like a, how would you say it, offhand remark, you know, but then it like, sorry, I can't think. um but I feel like there were a lot of moments like that. I can't think off of the top of my head, but that was the most prominent one that I can think of. um that's I think that's kind of all I've got. I'm really looking forward to this second season. I'll say that much. uh First episode, bro, who the heck is that? Who the heck is that? uh Little bro. He kept who's that guy? I thought that was Suzaku for a second. But it turns out it's not him, because at the end of the first, oh shoot, sorry. If you're gonna watch season two and for some reason you watched this but you haven't watched season two, sorry. uh Forget that I said any of that. um Spoilers for the first episode of season two. Sorry, it's 1 a.m. brain, but nobody's gonna be watching this. It's like 44 minutes in. The YouTube analytics is like, you watch the first 10 seconds and then boom, nothing. At least from my analytics. But season 2, episode 1, like, bro, who the heck is that guy? And then all that like memory stuff, and then all that. I'm just, oh my gosh, there was a lot of stuff happening in the first episode. I completely forgot that Kelton now knows Zero's identity, and so I was like, wait, what the heck? That's all I can think of. They start out with like chess again, so I mean it's obvious symbolic, like strategy, and all that stuff. I'm looking forward to seeing all that for season 2, and hopefully for season 2 when I do this, I can have a better, not rambly thing. I probably won't, but we'll see. I think that's pretty much it. Lots of animes are about to be finishing up soon as well, so I might be doing more of these for them. They might be a lot shorter, I think, than compared to this, because some of the shows I'm watching this season are not deep. I don't call them not deep, but they're kind of like, whatever. I still enjoy them, regardless of whether they're deep or not. Sorry, this probably comes off as elitist or whatever, but I don't know the proper way to phrase it. But all stories are good. Well, not all stories, but lots of stories are good. And you don't need to be like politically, like strategically, blah blah blah, to be good or not. There's lots of things that make a story good, regardless. But that's probably something I can talk about more deeply in a different thing as well. But if you watched 47 minutes of this, or if you skipped all the way to the end, good night. Holy crap, it's 1:16, and I said this like twice now. I'm looking forward to season 2. Good night.